Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Valentine here again. So, I guess the last video I made wasn't a great video. Um, my Pandora music was a little bit too loud. I wasn't aware of that. So, I guess what I wanted to talk to you today was, you know, the when you get into sorry about that. When you get into the whole trying to purchase a property or sell a property, one of the most important key factors is, who you're going to use to help you represent to buy your property or sell your property. As an investor, I'm going to prefer to use a FISBO. I'll discuss that, I guess, in the next video. But right now, I want to focus more on the realtor aspect of realtor agent, and a broker. So let me tell you a little bit what that is. A realtor and a real estate agent is almost very similar. It just depends on how they're being keyed on whatever market they're in. And a broker is just a person that used to be a realtor, but they decided to open up their own brokerage. So they have realtors that are working underneath them, and he pays I guess 80% and 20%. The realtors pay him 20% of their sale, and then he's the head of that office or whatever they're using. So in my field, as an investor, not a person that's trying to purchase a property, I see a lot of people that are just professional door openers. Yes, professional door openers. What I mean is, they're out here trying to sell you the dream. Your first dream house, where where your kids are gonna play, where you're gonna have your own space. But the problem is, a majority of these realtors, and I'm talking about Texas, I don't know about other places, but majority of these realtors don't even own the house. They live in an apartment. So for me, that's kind of odd if someone's trying to sell you something and they don't have anything. Perfect example, if someone's trying to sell you a car and they ride a bicycle to work. I mean, if they're trying to save their environment or whatever reason they have, maybe they have a bunch of DUIs that they can't use their vehicles. It's a little bit odd to me, and this is my own personal opinion. Everybody has entitled to an opinion, and I'm just gonna let you know as an investor. If I'm gonna deal with an agent that wants to represent me, first, how many properties does he have? I mean, if he's been in the real estate game for a while, then why doesn't he own a bunch of properties? If he's trying to sell you something that's gonna become an asset, of course, assets and liabilities, you're gonna have to follow Robert Kiyosaki on that one to know exactly what he's talking about on assets and liabilities. I might get into that on future videos. So when I say professional door opener is, you show up at a property, you want to see it, and you can't because there's a real estate agent that's representing that property or that owner. So you show up, he unlocks the door, and he shows you around and tells you, this is where the kids are gonna play, this is where the office is at. But once again, they don't own a property. And what I would expect my realtor is, one, if I'm buying in an area that I can consider running comps, CMAs, and comparative market analysis. This is just basic vocabulary terms that realtors use, which take about 5 minutes to produce. It's a software that does it for them. You don't get too impressed. CMAs, comparative market analysis. These are reports that are done online by a software that doesn't take much skill. They might have to take one class, an hour long. They'll teach them how to do it. It's still beneficial. It saves investors or future owners time to see if the house in the future is the prices are going down, they're going up. It's not that difficult. I want to be honest with you. I might oversell it for people that really do not know anything about real estate. But if, like Gary Vee said, you might trick the losers, but you're not gonna trick the winners. So when I pick a realtor, I want him to walk in a property and I want him to see what's going to break with the potential, or how much material cost, labor cost is going to be. I want him to have a plan and say, hey, this is the potential of this property. It might need a little bit work. It might not be completely move-in ready, but you don't have to finance a house for 30 years. Say I need new flooring. You walk in and the flooring is like $3,000. You pay that cash, you're done, instead of financing flooring for the next 30 years. So that floor that cost $3,000 will end up being, I don't know, I'm just guessing, so I'm not doing the math, for 30 years, I don't know, $15,000 on top of whatever the amortization rate is going to say on your property. And amortization rate is just another just a financial word that they use, that at the very beginning you're going to pay mostly interest, and then you're going to pay principal. Of course, if you start paying twice a week, twice a month, or that extra payment a year will help you. But if you're investors myself, you want to always try to keep money in your pocket. Pay yourself first. Everybody else comes second. That's just the rule of an investor. You must pay yourself first, because opportunities come and you must have money in your pocket to make your next move. So a realtor that comes to your house and posts a generic sign that they have in front of your yard, unlocks the door for you, gives you a basic CMA, and walks you around the house and tells you where your kids are gonna play, that's a salesperson. That's not in my own definition, my own opinion, a real realtor. I advise always do your best to use a broker, because if anything happens, he doesn't have to look anywhere. He's the top dog. Here's the problem. When a realtor represents somebody, they get paid 3% commission. Unless you're Frederick from $1 Million List, and he requires 4%. But if he's doing the seller and the buyer at the same time, then he gets the full 6% commission. So here's the catch-22. A lot of realtors that have been in the business for a long time, there's a certain number in their head, they're not going to tell you, that they won't help you. If your property is $75,000, $100,000, and that's way below the average in that area, they're not going to give you the best representation, because at the end of the day, they're taking home $2,000, $3,000 when they're used to doing $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 per deal. Once again, I've said this before, they're trying to make a living, but there's some people that are really, really nice. They're very blessed, and they help all clients. Doesn't matter rich or poor. They're gonna give the same customer service, have the same satisfaction for everybody. Those people are very rare. I know people in San Antonio that they only serve high class people. They started from the beginning and they built this clientele, and I guess they forgot along the way that they got there by taking every lead they possibly could. So now they're at a level that they're not making $12,000, $13,000 per sale. They're not going to touch you. Don't refer you to a newbie. He's a part-time realtor. He works at a regular job, 8 to 12. Then he wants to be your real estate agent. And he's telling you what time you're going to go see your property, even though you're still at work. Or he's going to go party on the Saturday, or on a Sunday he's going to go to church. They're self-contractors, so they're going to make their own schedule. So these are all things to look for when you're choosing your realtor. Ask them, how many properties you have, how long have you been in the area, how do you represent people that are asking for low cost housing, because they don't want to be mortgage poor. Mortgage poor is horrible. They say your property is going to go up in value, but meanwhile you have to struggle till that day comes, and no one can predict the market. Look at the recession in 2008. The banks were lending money to everybody. Everybody was buying what they wanted, and then we hit a bubble, and they say that those who do not study history are doomed to repeat it. Well, human beings are predictable. If sure, the lending rules got harder, but it's still human beings making the same decisions. And I always advise that if you do choose a realtor, that he has his own team, his own lending company, because it's good to have a team working on your side to get you to the end of the race. If you start getting a realtor and a loan officer from two different companies, well, they're not going to work good together, you're probably going to end up having a lot of problems because they've never worked together. They don't know everybody's rhythm. They don't know everybody's schedule. So, this is very important factors to consider when you're going to pick a realtor. And not only that, but in all fairness, and this is might not be good for me to say, but if you're going to buy a property, please don't be a tire thumper. Really study the market, and if you want to see properties, just tell the realtor, be honest, don't waste nobody's time. I mean, that's their job. That's their job. Just like you have your job, no, you wouldn't want to be doing something at your job and somebody's just trying to get information. I mean, there's no entitlement here. Everybody people should be honest. I just want to look at properties and I want to buy a month or 2-3 months from now, and you get what you built. Be honest. They're trying to help you. Ask those questions. How many properties you have, how long have you been in the business, did you grow up in this area, do you know the drug areas, do you know if there's prostitution area, in this area. I mean, this in Texas are very legitimate. And two of the things that I've learned, from being in Texas is, for some reason, Military Drive and River Road, anywhere in Texas, for some reason, is a bad place to buy. Why? I don't know. And they're like, where am I pulling this information from? Let me see. I grew up in the Valley. I live in Central Texas. Towns like San Marcos, San Antonio, West Lago, Mission, McAllen, Brownsville, Harlingen, Houston, Dallas. This is all areas that for some reason this streets are not great buys. But remember this too. Even bad people need housing. And a lot of realtors know those areas, and they know, hey, you know what? It's better to have a house that you can write off than an apartment that you cannot write off. You're just throwing money away. But, if you watch my previous video, sometimes you have to rent to understand where you're at. And it's, some people are not going to be in an area for a long time. So ask those hard questions. Don't be afraid. If he doesn't want to help you, he goes, why would you ask those questions? I've been, so who cares if I live in an apartment? I'm really good at what I do. Yeah, sure you are. There's plenty of realtors out there. And just so you know, it takes 6 weeks and $1,000 to get your real estate license. It's not like they went out and got a PhD. So don't go overcomplicate, like, oh, he's a realtor, he's licensed by the state. It's $1,000. It's $1,000. That's it. And if you do decide to go to school, I know there's great schools like the Champion School of Real Estate everywhere. They're phenomenal. The classroom settings are phenomenal. So stay safe, have a plan, ask the hard real estate questions, study the market. Look at Zillow, look at Trillia, look at Realty Tracker, look at realtor.com. And I'll be talking more about those websites later. But my name is Valentine. Welcome to email me whenever you want. It's VD49560. Have a blessed day.